What's going on, all you wild monsters? Your two favorite spooks back here for Cinephellas. I am Logan Myers, my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Hill, and we're talking about an animated movie tonight for the 31 Days of Horror. That's right, a movie that neither of us had seen prior to this past weekend when we got together. We had our sons sit down and watch this animated feature. It's a movie that came out back from 2006, executive produced by Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis. We're talking about Gil Keenan's Monster House.
That's right, Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis. Never heard of them. Are they new to the industry?
I've never heard of them. Yeah, they must be
either.
New.
They must be new. Amblin Entertainment too. That must be a brand new company. Never heard of them either. But no, I'm just kidding. 2006. But yeah, Niall's been talking about this on the podcast for like 2 years. So we finally got around to watching this. It's streaming on Hulu. We're hanging out over the weekend, celebrating early Halloween with the kids, and we felt like tossing this into the Cinephellas studios and the theater downstairs. And we had a great time with this, based on a kid, his neighbor's an old angry man. He steals all this, toys and things from the neighborhood kids, really mean. And he notices the house is like a monster, things going inside of it, like a monster eating up, people and stuff like that. So it sets up a really spooky Halloween atmosphere to it right from the get-go of the film.
Nevercracker. Yeah, the neighbor, the old guy played by Steve Buscemi. Very interesting. He's, naturally creepy. So playing the crazy neighbor, the scary neighbor guy, it's perfect in this movie. And you're right that the house itself that he lives in becomes the monster. It's pretty spooky. It's pretty scary. And it's, a good Halloween movie to watch with your kids. It really is. It's PG. It pushes the envelope. Sometimes, some of the images on screen can get kind of spooky. I can see really young kids getting freaked out by this. Our kids are fine though. They really enjoyed this. They're on the edge of their seats the whole time watching this. 2006. So the animation was, it's a little dated, but it still looked good for the most part. This is, cutting edge for back in 2006, which is a while ago, but it still looked good. And the story itself is fun. You can imagine yourself being a teenager with your couple of friends and, just down the street, your neighbor's house. Nobody else can see it, but you can see it. It's a living, breathing monster house with teeth. And, one by one, the kids are, trying not to get eaten by this monster house, basically. And later on in the movie, you actually learn what's going on with the actual house and why it's haunted and why they're the only ones that can see it.
Yeah, you get more of a backstory of Nevercracker's character and, the love interest, love of his life, what that's to do with the house. But really the heart of this movie is, a young DJ and his friends. Kids, you remember being that age and you heard about that haunted house down the street and you walk past it and you're like, oh my God, being young. And they really portray that really great. Anytime you get in the yard of this house, the tongue comes out of the door and it comes to suck you up and all these cool scenes. Remember being a young kid and going through the same thing of not really sure what lives there, why it's haunted and stuff like that. It dives into a lot of that, those fears we had as kids, young kids. So, Amblin Entertainment's always good about making timeless classics and stories about kids and what they're going through and the traumas and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely worth mentioning that this was directed by Gil Keenan, who's going to be doing the next Ghostbusters, which is cool though, to see him get a start back here with with Spielberg and Zemeckis over him as the executive producers, letting him direct this animated movie. And he really does a terrific job. I liked what he did with the kids here. And the cast is great. Steve Buscemi, we mentioned. We have Catherine O'Hara as the mom. Obviously, we don't need to mention what she's been in, Beetlejuice, etc. And Fred Willard as the dad. Yes, Kevin. obviously, and Beetlejuice, and Fred Willard, the late great Fred Willard as a dad. Just a great voice and a great voice cast. The kids were all phenomenal, very believable, and the house itself, was terrifying. Had teeth, and like you mentioned, the tongue came out, and eventually it just kind of comes alive and starts walking around at the end. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed this, for being an animated movie that obviously isn't, a terrifying, like adult themed, horror movie, of course. But I really had a good time with this and enjoyed watching with our little ones.
31 Days of Horror, we always talk about an animated cartoon movie, for kids. It's not all spooky slashers, we like to have fun with our kids too. And we really had a great time with this. Great weekend with you guys. Kids loved it. I loved it too. I was really wrapped into the story. It's only like an hour and a half long, so it goes by pretty quickly. You really like, everything about it really brings you into the spooky atmosphere for October. The only thing, slight complaint about it, like you were saying, the animation's a little dated. They kind of look like wax figures in a wax museum. But, looking past that, maybe I'm critiquing it too much. But, besides that, everything else is really fantastic. Great story, great voice cast, and great direction in this. I'm excited to see where Gil Kinnan's career goes in the new Ghostbusters movie. So that being said, I'm going to give Monster House, that came out in 2006, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 monster hair pieces.
Monster House gets a 4 out of 5 Fred Willard hair pieces.
So I hear from all you wild ghouls out there. What did you like about Monster House? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to stay in, subscribe. Also check out these wild vampires on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
And follow along with us all 31 days of October for the 31 days of horror. We're reviewing something new every single day, something that we haven't before, new shows, new movies, having a blast doing it. And we still have several days to go before All Hallows Eve.
That's right. It's coming up here in a week and a half. So we've been knocking out these videos each day of the month.
Yep. So thank you guys so much for watching our review of 2006's Monster House. And until the next 31 Days of Horror, I'm Henry Hill.
And I'm CC DeVille with the House of Horrors and Horrors. Until next time, poison. Cheese.